Hey guys, Gary here. So just got asked a cool question actually in our support center. So we have in here about how to validate contact numbers in a high level. It's awesome training from guys at High Level Freaks. It's Pat in there talking about how to do that in the US because in the US they've got all kinds of codes for mobile numbers and you can't necessarily tell if it's a mobile or a landline, so on and so forth. So this is very US based, but what happens if you're in the UK or another country? So I've put together a little demo here or a little example of a workflow. So this is what we actually do in Australia. Now, in Australia where we are, all mobile numbers start with 04. So it'll be 04, whatever it might be, basically is the phone number. So in here, put a little condition. So for Australian mobile, so if the phone number contains +61, so that's the country code, and then 4, so we drop the 0, we don't need to put that in there. That's the way this works. If you put +6104, it won't work. So do +614. All right, so it contains that. We know that that is a mobile number. Just having a message with someone from the UK, they were asking there. Now, I believe this is correct. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I was relying on Google for this, but Google said that all mobile numbers in the UK start with 75 or 77 or 79. So if they're in the UK, then it would be +44, which is yeah, that is correct. That is the country code. So +4475 would be a mobile, +4477 would be a mobile, +4479 would be a mobile. So if it contains any of those, we'll go down another branch. So that's the way we can just do it in a filter here. So the way that this would work is if we were to have our workflow or validation, you can do this any which way you want, but we're just going to use this condition to filter our messages through that way to make sure we're not sending to landlines or odd numbers or whatever they might be, okay? So that will help us to validate them, and then you can do whatever you want through there. So in this example here, all I would do is I would just take my list. I'm going to add them to this workflow, let it run through. It's going to know if it's an Australian number, it will let it go through. If it's a UK number, it will let it go through. In this case here, I've just got them going through and saying, okay, cool. If they're a mobile number, go and send them the SMS. All right. Super basic workflow, not really doing anything else with that. If they're not, then it can go here and add a tag and say, hey, tag, no SMS. Then in the future, maybe as I'm doing this, if I've added tags, I can exclude any numbers that have got the tag no SMS. I could do this many other ways. You guys can all come up with your own wonderful ways of using workflows. I could simply run contacts through here as they come in. So any new contact that gets added, I might want to add them to this workflow and just figure out if I've got a mobile number or not a mobile number and then tag them to allow SMS or whatever, and then I can create segmented lists. So you can do that whichever way you want to do it in your workflows. But this is just a really cool way to do it. Just wanted to explain for different countries. If you know it's predictive on what the numbers start with for mobile numbers in those countries, a bit different to the US, just use an if statement, make sure you contain that in there, and then that way you can filter them through to make sure that you validate all your mobile numbers through high level with a workflow, and that way also doesn't cost you anything. You don't need any mobile validators in there. All right, awesome. Thank you guys.